Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Candid Comments on our channel, Candid Conversations, zoomed in and Candid Comments video channel. My name is Cliff. I'm your host, and today I want to talk about feedback. Feedback is an important part of the landscape as far as any kind of activity with respect to social media. And social media is everywhere. We all know that there are different media sites that are up and running and basically allow us to put all kinds of interesting content from pictures to videos, and also streaming live content is also something that is done as well. There is a myriad of activity that you can get into with the different social media sites. So when you do that, though, you are actually going to be engaging in a communication with people and you're going to draw feedback. Now, sometimes that feedback is going to be positive, other times it's not going to be positive. And you want to ensure that your brand, with respect to the feedback, is going to basically be untarnished. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that and the reason why it's so important to ensure that what you do with respect to the social media aspect of your experience online is important, and how to essentially manage that so that you don't end up in a particular position where you're going, oh, um, because that can happen. It can be an oh moment where you didn't expect this to come to this fruition. So let's dive in a little bit here and talk about what can happen with regard to your posts, and why you need to be careful about those posts and how you post things. There's a lot of things that are going on different social media sites that basically are very wackadoodle. That's the way I'll put it. I don't really like to use that word, but we've seen that actually in the discourse in recent Canadian politics, with the opposition leader Pierre Poilievre referring to our prime minister as a wacko. That was something that was basically a moment in time that caused a lot of concern. A lot of people were stunned by that. I know I was aghast by that. I was surprised by the idea that somebody would use that language in a very, very esteemed place. But sure enough, Pierre Poilievre pulled that punch, and basically called the Prime Minister of Canada a wacko. And that gets onto social media. The question is, do you want to be associated with that kind of rhetoric? Do you want to be in the middle of this? Do you want that kind of thing? For myself, the answer is no. I wouldn't want to be involved in any of that, simply because then that makes my brand one that I don't want, which is basically partisan, and I am not a partisan type. Now, some people are okay with that, and that's fine and dandy. You can be partisan if you wish. That is your choice. But there are so many dangers with doing that, particularly if you're going to be trying to influence people with video and blog content, um, and doing so can really damage your reputation, and get you into a whole lot of trouble, including lawsuits and other legal peril, including possibly ending up imprisoned for your speech. Yes, here in Canada, we do have hate laws, and they are very, very robust, and you can say things online that can get you into trouble, and basically, you don't want this. So you want to ensure that you're doing things on social media that make your brand um, friendly, uh, approachable. If you're trying to be an influencer, if you're trying to be somebody who is trying to put a message out there that um, you want uh, people to take up, and really be hooked into, you want to be as balanced as possible. Now, it's fair to basically make comments about situations and people and things. It's okay to say something that uh, is true and accurate. It's okay to point out fact. But when you start getting into a dialogue and a discourse where you're talking about things that are really out there, then basically you can get yourself in trouble. And recently, I had a couple of things come up on my social media sites, particularly one site, I'm not going to mention the name, where I posted something. It basically got attraction, and I'm pleased about that. But what happened is just the conversation started to devolve a little bit, and I was really surprised at that. So I looked at what was going on. I saw the text, and I said, "Okay, we're going to dump this." So I clicked on these different posts that were coming up underneath there with the commentaries, and I deleted them off. And then one person, basically, I just totally unfriended and said, "That's it. You're done here." With regard to that, I didn't tell them that directly, but it was my mindset. It's like, you're done here. We're not going to delve into this because this was getting into a fight. I did tell one of the other people that I took off their comments, and I said, this is the reason why, and that's it. And it was basically based on the fact that I didn't want that to get out of hand, and I didn't want to be associated with that. I have to be honest. I am sensitive to feedback, particularly negative feedback. It could really and does have an impact on me. And I'll be honest. I'm not one who likes that too much. I prefer more positive feedback, of course, and anybody would really. I think that's a natural human trait. But when I saw what was going on, I said, "Oh no, this is too wackadoodle. Uh, we're not having that. I'm putting an end to it." I put the foot down. I said no. And I've often said this on my blogs. I would say that here on this channel, and also on my podcast, Tales from the Cube. Comments are great. Once you start getting into discourse that's going to devolve into something that is not acceptable, you're going to basically find yourself not being seen as far as your commentary or heard. And I realize some people are going to say to me, "Oh, that's censorship, Cliff." Yeah, maybe a little, but the point is it's my brand, and I want to make sure that that brand doesn't get tarnished by people doing things that I don't appreciate. The other thing too is that sometimes when I put up content, I'm not necessarily looking for a feedback point. Although I have to realize that no matter what we put up on a channel, I know, for example, even here on YouTube, it can draw feedback, and that's fine. But there are times I put up stuff. I'm not really looking for that. I'm just, hey, here's something that's going on. If you like it, great. Click a like. That's great. But I'm not looking for your feedback. And I did post something again on a particular uh, site, and basically that particular instance was noted by somebody, and they were kind enough to let me know offline that they saw something that could really cause me some trouble, and I appreciated that. But what was wrong about their approach was the sarcasm that I got from them, the things that they were saying in their rhetoric back to me, or their point of view was okay to a point, but then it got into sarcasm, and it's just like, I don't need your sarcasm. Just tell me what I did that you need for me to look at, and I'll fix it. I don't want to hear the sarcasm. I don't want to hear the snarky remark, or the smart aleck backhanded comment. Is not what I'm looking for. It's not something I'm interested. I don't care to hear it. So I was polite. I said, "Thank you very much for the feedback." But in retrospect, when I look back and I'm thinking, I was seethed a little bit. I was angry. It's like, look, you want to be a smart aleck. You want to be uh, backhanded in your comments. You want to show that you're smart. Groovy. Do it somewhere else. Please, just do it somewhere else. Was my thinking. And I'm tolerant in a lot of ways. I believe that I am, and I think a lot of people are tolerant, but there are points where it's just like, no more. And that's where I'm getting at in my older age. No more. I'm not going to tolerate backhanded sarcasm comment directed to me. Just tell me what's wrong. Let me know, hey, I saw this. You might want to take a look at it because it could cause you trouble. And I've also seen other people post things, and they say, "I don't care," um, on different social media sites. I have one person who said, "I don't care." Well, you better care, because if you put something up that is basically deemed as hate speech, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to find yourself investigated by law enforcement, and you might find yourself facing a judge because of what you say. Now, a lot of people will say that's unfair. It's perfectly fair, because there's a lot of things that you shouldn't be saying about people in groups. You can think what you want, you can say stuff, and you can protest and feel free to do so, and say what you need to say about a particular situation, no matter what that situation is. But do it in a balanced and fair manner, and do it in a manner which is basically respectful. Another thing that I've seen, and I just think is really atrocious, is where people will post a picture up and showing things that are really not appropriate, in my opinion. Even some political stuff. I remember seeing somebody post a picture of somebody with their dog, and that particular animal was doing their business on a political sign. And they were saying, "Oh, good boy for doing that. For the dog, to give the dog a treat." So you're okay with vandalism. You're fine with destroying somebody's property. No, that's not cool. You're, that that's not cool. That's just something that is not acceptable to do. It's inappropriate to suggest that that's okay to go around, wrecking signs and stuff like that. We don't want that kind of discourse, and I think that's an important point I want to drive home. And I think the real reason for all of this junk that started or has been really building up to now is what's been going on in our houses of parliament in the United States, in Congress and in the Senate, uh, and just in the political discourse and in the public discourse about all kinds of subject matter, and even the way we are feeding back to corporations and companies. It's the back and forth that's been going on has turned really ugly in the last little while, and is presenting itself now on social media, and that's a problem we need to address, because the bottom line is that we all have to work together. And I think I would like to see, in my opinion, a lot of people starting to basically band together and say, let's do it better. Let's show the leaders how it's done, how we can have discourse that is fair, balanced, points out what is right, points out what is wrong, and stands for something, as opposed to making um, a situation in an exasperated way even worse. And I think that's the problem we face in social media. We need to start really taking a look at our social media and saying, how do we want to present ourselves? Our brand is technically our name. My name is my brand, and my brands are, besides my name, of course, uh, the Candid Conversations piece, which is my blog, 101 Candid Conversations, and this channel, which is the YouTube channel, which features zoomed in and candid comments. And of course, there's also the other two things: my blog, as I mentioned, 101 candidconversations.blogspot.com, and my podcast, which is about call centers, Tales from the Cube. These are my brands. These are things I really care about. And I don't want to have them tarnished or diminished because of behavior with respect to feedback on social media that is inappropriate and unworthy of any kind of uplifting at all. So I'm really going forward and trying to say here today, you want to think about what you're putting up on the social media sites that you have linked to. Think about this, care about it, and do something that is fair and balanced. It's okay to have a discourse that's feisty and back and forth, but it's not okay, like I said, to post pictures of dogs peeing on political signs, or reposting and regurgitating things like Pierre Polyev going wacko prime minister. That's not okay. It's not. Just as it wouldn't be acceptable for Prime Minister Trudeau to call Polyev wacko, and some of the other names that he's been calling him as well. It's not. Or Jagmeet Singh doing the same thing, or Elizabeth May. It's I can't picture Elizabeth May doing anything like that anyway. But what am I getting to? It's not okay for anybody to do this. We have to be better people, and we have to basically start by checking ourselves at the door and saying, am I doing the right thing? Am I putting stuff in here that's going to get feedback that is relevant, uplifting, and even sometimes a little bit hard to deal with, but at least we can work with and dialogue on, where we're just basically going to continue the WWF trailer park trash talk that's becoming what social media looks like right now. That is up to you and myself, you and me, to basically do and decide. What are you going to do when this is something we need to really talk about? What are you going to do? How are you going to go about this? I'd love to know what you think. You're welcome to comment on this video, and I appreciate the time that you've taken to take a look at it. Zoomed In is going to be coming back hopefully soon with another interesting interview. I'm looking at possibly getting in touch with somebody who's an advocate for seniors regarding Bill 7 here in Ontario. Bill 7 uh, is the act that basically allows hospitals to take seniors and put them wherever they want. Oh, you're going there, and you don't have a choice. It's a very serious problem. There's one family that basically is footing or not going to foot the bill for $400 fines per day for keeping their loved one in the hospital. They're saying, nope, not paying it because you were going to send this person that I love, my mom, 83-year-old lady, to a long-term care facility that is gross, disgusting. Why would I go forward and let you do that? So she said, nope. And basically the hospital billed her, and she's saying, I'm not paying the bill. Do I think that's right? Generally speaking, I would say no, but in this case, I can understand the standpoint that she's taking, and I want to talk to somebody that basically would, delve into this with me a little bit. So that's hopefully going to be a zoomed in video coming up soon, and of course other things. I am definitely back and looking forward to more interesting comments and zoomed in here on our channel. Again, my name is Cliff. Thank you very much for dropping in today. I'll see you in the next video. This is zoomed in, not zoomed in. This is, let's try that again. This is Candid Conversation, zoomed in and comments video channel. See you around in the next episode. Bye for now. Have a great day, folks.